Okay, it's officially 8:30 p.m. Let's grab our seats. My name is Ron. I'm an alcoholic. How you all doing? Welcome home. Quick announcement here. What do I have to announce tonight? Oh, our hoodies. Boom. If you want hoodies, we got matching T-shirts too, pink ones. Pretty cool. What else we got to see Nick after the meeting? He's going to be our world's greatest chairperson tonight. Our speaker tonight is actually amazing because he's been working so hard behind the scenes. You guys really don't get to see him much, but for years he's been posting our YouTube things, videos and talks, and with over 400,000 views. So I thought it's kind of important to put a face to all that work behind there and to hear his story. Well, with that, I'll save it to when he gets up here. World's greatest chairperson. Let's give Nick a warm welcome. Let's bring him up.
My name's Nick, I'm an alcoholic, and I am the world's greatest chairperson. Okay, welcome home, everyone. Welcome to the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Alcoholics Anonymous. Like I said, my name is Nick, and I am an alcoholic. This is a one-hour speaker meeting that meets every Saturday evening at St. Paul's Lutheran Church, 301 North Main Street in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Food and fellowship starts at 8 o'clock, followed by our speaker at 8:30. The business meeting for this group meets every Saturday at 7 p.m. to 7:30 right here. Please come early and join us. The purpose of this group is to provide a consistent message of hope and recovery through God, reliance, and service to others through the practice and teaching of the 12 steps. We record all speakers so that others may benefit from the message of recovery. If you wish not to be recorded, simply ask. And this is an open meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. The group would like to welcome everyone, especially newcomers. Is there anyone new or from out of town that would like to introduce themselves with their first name? Yes, sir.
My name's Matt. I'm an alcoholic from Oak Beach.
Welcome, Matt. Thanks for being here. Okay, and welcome to everybody. The Conscious Contact Speaker Group encourages sponsorship. Would anyone with working knowledge of the 12 steps and is willing to sponsor, please raise your hands. Excellent. Are there any announcements for the good of AA? I do have one quick announcement. The Percy Beginners Group and the Percy Group of AA is having a New Year's Eve party this Tuesday, Virginia and Dill Street at St. Andrew's Church. If you want information about that, come see me. Have a flyer. 7:30. There's a short non-denominational ceremony mass, burning of resentments. It's pretty cool. And then we'll have 2 speakers, all kinds of free food, fun fellowship, music, dancing until after midnight. Watch the ball drop, all that good stuff. It was an awesome time last year. If you want something to do on New Year's, awesome sober party, come see me after the meeting. I have a flyer for that. Our sister group is a Big Book study meeting. It meets every Thursday at 7:30, and that's just up the street at the Salem Church, 186 East Court Street, and the coffee is on at 6:15. Please come early. We have meeting lists and Big Books on easy terms. Please see me or any home group member after the meeting. If you cannot afford a Big Book, we will give you one at no charge. Anyone willing to make donations for the purchase of Big Books and CDs to help those that can't afford them can put donations in the jar on a table marked Big Book and CD donations, and all CDs are available free of charge. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Doylestown, Pennsylvania, and our Facebook group. Subscribe and share. You can find our speakers there, join our Facebook page to keep informed and share upcoming events and meetings. And now with that, I have Shane to come up and read the Just for Today Prayer of Recovery. Let's give Shane a warm welcome.
Good evening. My name's Shane. I'm an alcoholic. Welcome home. Just for today. I will be agreeable. I will look as well as I can, dress becomingly, talk low, act courteously, criticize not one bit, not find fault with anything, and not try to improve, regulate anybody except myself. Next, I would like to bring up my good friend Nate to read the AA preamble.
I'm Nate. I'm an alcoholic. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. I'd like to welcome Chuck up to the stage to read the 12 traditions.
Alcoholic named Chucky. Where's the card for the 12 traditions?
This is 12 steps.
Okay. 12 steps of recovery. Number 1, we admit we're powerless over alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admit to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and we're wrong, promptly admitted. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all our affairs. Thank you.
Okay, the 7th tradition states every AA group ought to be fully self-supported and declining outside contributions. At this time, we'd like to pass the basket. We have no dues or fees. We do have expenses, and this group provides many services. Your donations cover food, rent, big books, CDs, events, and workshops. And also, we have a Venmo. There is a QR code on the table back there if you want to make a donation, or I have one on my phone. Come see me after the meeting if you'd like to do that. Please take a moment to silence all cell phones and limit movement during the meeting to avoid distractions. And there's also no smoking on church property. If you're going to smoke, walk out to the street on both ends here, both exits. Now, to introduce our speaker, a good friend of the Conscious Contact speaker group, we have Jason, who is one of our home group members. Welcome, Jason, from New Jersey.
Good evening, Jason. I'm an alcoholic. Pleasure to be here. Grateful. Thanks, Ron, for asking me to come speak. Thanks for Matt taking the ride up. It's an honor and a privilege to be up here. For many years, I've done the YouTube channel and put all the speakers up that have come here, and they're always fire and brimstone. They're just fantastic. So I'm sure you can relate that if you ever done a speaking commitment, you can have a little anxiety. So bear with me. I have to measure up. So I'm a suburban kid. I'm oldest child of 4. 2 brothers, 2 younger sisters. We grew up in a short town in New Jersey. Kind of like by Point Pleasant Beach, if you know where that is. And we had a pretty dysfunctional home life. My father was an immigrant. He grew up in Newark during the 60s. Wasn't a great time, the 60s in Newark. There's a lot of tension. And my mom, she was an Army brat. grandfather was Army vet, career veteran, career Army man. And they finally settled in down the shore. And my dad's dad, he liked his wine, and my mom's dad also liked his drink. And he got sober for a little while, come to find out later on. In all good dysfunctional families, though, it's not quite talked about that much. So I never saw my parents have a drink, though. So they were adult children of alcoholics. None of this makes me alcoholic, but just to paint the picture for you. I was a really scared kid. I can remember my dad, one of my earliest memories of him. I hate to paint a picture of a bad guy. I mean, it was just the way he was. But he scared me, and he would yell once in a while. And when he did, I trembled in fear. I would hug my mom's leg right down at her foot, and I would just hide. And I can remember one time, I was about 7, he stubbed his toe on the dresser in his room. And he screamed so loud, like I jumped from my bed. And I waited, though, because I was, oh no, Dad's screaming, what's the matter? And it was quiet for a second, and then I just heard this smashing, banging. That lasted for a minute or two, and him just cursing and hollering. A few minutes went by, and I snuck out, heard my mom crying and screaming for him to stop. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I sneak in there, nobody was around. He had left the room already. I think he left the house. And he had took a claw hammer, and he had smashed that dresser to pieces. Cops were called by the neighbors. They came in. They said, hey, did he touch you? Did he hurt you? Nope. And they left. Shortly thereafter, though, he left too. I was about 10 or 11. And he wasn't coming home on weekends. And, we didn't have much stuff, if you will. I grew up in a suburban neighborhood, and everyone around me had pools and, families and money, and, kids were going out to the park, and they had cash, and, I had, my mother wasn't giving us a nickel. My mother was a wizard, though. She was able to rub 2 quarters together and make $1, a lot. I can remember times where, my father wasn't around, and she would finally get some money from him, and he'd give her a couple $100, when he had some money from a construction job he had completed. And we owed $600 to all the utilities, and I can remember her in the car with us saying, well, I have $300, electric or gas. And we're little, 10, 12 years old, going, I don't know, Mom, you're the boss, you're the adult. And she'd go, electric, we'll take cold showers, or you could shower at school, or we'll go to Grandma's, we'll go shower over there, once in a while, get a hot shower. And the food, we barely had enough food. She would, go to the supermarket and get a couple boxes of pasta. It was $1. Make some sauce. And, you better eat it quick, because I had 3 other people to contend with, and you didn't get your food quick, you were beat. So I went to bed hungry. It was plenty of times, And so I resented them for that. I went through my whole life saying, why don't we look like them? The neighbor. Got a pool, a house, a couple nice cars. We're driving around in that old station wagon from the 80s, the brown panel station wagon was falling apart. And I from an early age, just those resentments were going right early. And I don't know that, I just know that I'm mad at them. I'm mad at them for leaving. He abandoned us. I'm mad at my mom. Why can't we have more money? And so my journey begins, collecting resentments, getting a grudge list. I remember we went through the inventory, Ron's my sponsor. So, you'll hear me mention his name quite a bit. And, we go through the inventory and realize that, I had resentments of my kindergarten teacher. She wrote a note to my mother, stuck it in my backpack, and I didn't know it. And when I got home, my mother would take my backpack apart, and what happened? What did school today? And here's this, and here's your homework, and you go do this and that. And the note just kind of flew out onto the ground, and I tried to grab it. I put my foot on top of it, What is that? Jason won't stop talking. And I was like, I can't believe she did that to me. Resentment. And I was mad at her for a long time. I was probably still mad at her, 44 years old, coming in here. I didn't really, I had some drinks. I was at a party once in my teenage years. I didn't know how to drink. I had drank, I kept drinking, and before I know it, I was throwing up and passing out. My first time drinking. So even then, I didn't know how to drink. There was nothing slow about it. There was nothing about the taste I liked. There was nothing about the feeling. There was no feeling. It was everybody was drinking, I'm drinking, and my body said, you're done. And I was done. I dabbled in, what teenagers dabble in, other forms of alcohol. And then I was interested in girls. So that became more important to me. And again, my father wasn't home, at all anymore. He had a girlfriend, and which he wound up staying with till the end of his life, so for 30 years. And I didn't come home on time a couple times in a row. So I was 17, almost 18, and one night I came home. It was about 2 or 3 in the morning. Again, I was just staying at the girl's house. I wasn't drinking, I wasn't drugging. And I saw my varsity jacket out on the front porch. And that was the sign, get out. Well, I stepped over it and I went inside and I went to sleep. My mother woke me up. She goes, you better get out of here. He's going to be here later. You shouldn't be here. So I left and I finished high school at a buddy's house, the neighbor around the corner on his couch. And my father wasn't all bad. I mean, he was my soccer coach, all through my early childhood. My mom ran us around, again, a wizard, managed to get 4 kids to 4 different things, whatever we were doing, somehow, some way. And she was a 5'0" little Italian lady that was, all the memes are true. She was hitting us with the wooden spoons and the meat pounders and the belt, and we'd laugh, but try not to. But she was funny. It didn't really hurt, but she was frustrated. 4 kids and no help, no money. It wasn't terrible, right? It could have been worse, right? I had everything I needed. I just couldn't see it. So I got a job. My father did help me get a job right out of high school. It was September of that graduating year, and it was a pretty good job. We worked 6 days, 6 12s, and I was making pretty good money. Got my own apartment down in Seaside, actually, in the winter months. And we were partying. Fake IDs, 30 packs. I mean, it started to move then, It was started to really catch on. But I had a mentor at the time, another Ron, mentor Ron, in my 20s. This was in, the mid-90s. And he didn't like anybody drinking or drugging. He didn't care for that. His son actually committed suicide because of this disease. So, not that I felt bad, but he was really mentoring me on the job, and I felt sort of a service to him to not do that, but I took me with me. Because my father, growing up, I was so fearful, I almost couldn't leave the house. you know, and he would just tell me things like, you got to get mad, son. You got to get, you know, you can't be scared of that. He would just, that was always there, you know, and he would say things like, don't trust anybody. Watch your back. And although it didn't feel right to me, it felt weird. That didn't sit well with me at all. I did it anyway because that's what he told me to do. So every time something came up that disturbed me or upset me or frightened me, I would say, hey, Dad, you know, this and this and happened. He goes, get mad, you know. First time somebody says something to you, you punch him in the face. Punch him in the nose, he'd say. Punch him in the nose. So there were a bunch of fights. Won some, lost some, draw some, you know, and I hated every minute of it. But I did it, and it just sort of conditioned me to be that way. And I was so afraid I couldn't talk to anybody. I didn't have any friends really, but I chameleoned. Like I just kind of like worked over here in this group, and then another couple days I'd work over there in that group, and I just sort of had these, you know, superficial friends, if you will. I didn't have any real friends. I didn't know how to be a friend. So there was, you know, some time dry, if you will. But I was still, you know, edgy, irritable. Not like what it was at the end of my drinking, but during that time, I was restless, irritable, discontent, not knowing what that was until I get here. So I get out of the apartment. I did have to move back home. There was still drinking involved. Weekend stuff. Sometimes midweek, go with some friends I've met over the years. You know, we'd go out for a beer or two at the bar, which never turned out to be a beer or two. And I met a girl, and my job actually turned into a union shop, so I was making quite a bit more money, long hours. And me and this girl, we actually went to Georgia for work. She came with me. She was like my ride or die, you know. She was with me the whole time. Then we came back to New Jersey, and I bought a house. We were in there for a while. I met some other people, made some friends, little by little, and I was in the house about 8-9 months, and I had this funny feeling in my stomach, like something's going on. Come to find out, she was stepping out on me with a guy I thought was my friend. And there in my back of my head, the committee starts running. Don't trust anybody. Watch your back. And it's there. And so, you know, I think my world crashed at that point, you know, from my upbringing and just the being tired of being angry and just irritable, and I was just mad at everything, everyone for everything. There was nothing that went my way. And I wound up, I couldn't stop crying. I just couldn't stop crying. And so I checked myself into a psych ward. I was there for about a week, until I finally stopped crying. I was on, 10 different meds and all that stuff. And I went back to work finally. It wasn't a place I had sick time. It was construction. Like, you don't show up, you don't get paid. So I need to go back. So I struggled. I went back. And then about 8 months later, I quit. And because I had had some distance, some separation from this sort of codependent relationship, if you will. And I had a good friend of mine from high school. She was in Las Vegas. So we had been talking on AOL.com. And called her a couple times. We talked on the phone a bunch, but, in the middle of the night, I'd be at my Grandpa Ron's house, and I'd be typing away, and because we didn't have a computer at my house. So I moved out there, packed up my truck, got a U-Haul trailer, and hit the road. And she had an apartment, we had a room, and you know, the I love yous were already happening, and I was like, this is gonna be great. That lasted about 4 months, and it was over before it started. So I had met some people out there who were partying. I always find my people. And we partied. And I wasn't a big gambler, so the casinos weren't really attractive to me, although it was part of the scene. You know, whether we were, you know, buying alcohol, selling alcohol, doing whatever we were doing, you know, trying to find the next dollar, working this little job, working that little job. I lasted in Las Vegas 18 months. It pretty much chewed me up and spit me out. But the guy who I don't like the most, or the guy who's always been the, you know, I was afraid of, I called. Because he was like a lion, you know? He was like the protector, but don't cross me. And I don't care if you're my kid or not. That was the kind of guy he was. So I called him, afraid. I said, you got to get me out of here. So he said, I'll call you back, blah, blah, blah. Then he said, I got your flight. It's in 3 days. Don't miss it. You better get on it. He knew, you know, he knew that I wasn't doing the right thing. I flew back home and, you know, got involved in a little limousine garage business. He was a partner and I was kind of working there. And then I met my current wife and we got pregnant. So, shotgun wedding. And we were married within 4 months, 3-4 months. And I just didn't see any future in being a mechanic in a garage for me. It was just so hit or miss, you know. Business was good, then business was terrible. And, you know, it was just this roller coaster. I wanted something stable. So I went to a utility company, which was stable income, little less money, but it was good. And it's construction also, again. So, but they have a little rule that there'll be no drugs here, because you have a CDL now, and you'll be on that random drug list. I said, no problem. I got my baba. Good. So, on came the drinking. And my wife was a pretty good drinking partner, you know. But reflecting back now, learning backwards, she didn't drink like me. So we wound up having 3 kids. And my father doesn't even come to my wedding. He makes some last minute excuse that, you know, I don't really want you marrying her and I'm not coming. He made it about him. So another resentment, baby. So, you know, my list is long when I get here. So, you know, we had a house. We moved. We had an apartment first. We moved, and then we moved a couple of times to the house we're currently in now. And my drinking just pretty much was almost to the point where I was home, just home. I'd stop on the way home. I'd grab what I needed, whatever I needed to grab. My first phone call home was, "What's in the fridge? How much beer we got? You got any vodka? Got anything to drink? What do we got to drink? What's in there? What's downstairs? Anything in the other fridge? What's downstairs?" For, you know, that was all I thought about. And I was always yelling at the kids because they're just being kids. They didn't do what I told them. So they don't listen. And I had this whole ideal that I was going to be this mentor and great dad, and everything mine wasn't. And I was was just so mad. I wasn't having enough sex or the right sex. I wasn't having, the kids weren't doing right. They weren't doing right. They weren't doing good in school. The teacher was this. The kids were complaining. Somebody was bullying them in school. It was always something. There was always something for me to be resentful about or angry. Add to the grudge list. So January 12th, 2020, my wife, we were watching the AFC Championship game. I was wasted, as usual. And she had said something, and of course it was probably nothing, and I catastrophized it like I always do. And I got mad and angry, started yelling right back at her. Who are you talking to? You know who I am? Who do you think you're talking to? And she goes, I'm leaving. I'm done. I've got the kids, we're all packed already. We packed all day. Stuff's at half at my mom's. We're going. We won't be here when you get back from work tomorrow. So this was a Sunday night. And I was just like, in shock. Like, the blood left my body. So that Monday, I'm at work, and I work late. I always work late. I work, till 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. most nights during the week. And if I wasn't on call on the weekend, then I was home. So I remember Monday, we were done with our first job, and it was like, I don't know, we were going for our meal, our dinner meal. And I just found myself looking up rehabs. I don't know why, it wasn't suggested. It just kind of happened. And, I typed in rehab and, the Google machine just blasts out a million hits. And I wind up calling just one of them, whatever one stood out. I'm on the phone with this woman and she says, yeah, all right, when do you get off work? 9 o'clock. Well, what time are you going to get home? At 10. All right, and you're going to come right down here? I said, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I said, I just know that I can't stop. Like, I just couldn't. Like, it would be a day or two I could stop, but after that, I just couldn't stop. She goes, well, it sounds like you need some help. I said, okay, yeah, I think I do. I don't know if it was a cry for help or I wanted to one-up my wife because she was leaving, and this was my last-ditch effort to save something of the marriage, the kids. I mean, this was crushing me. So I get down, so I said, she says, you to call me when you get home. I said, okay. So she calls me, she gets my phone number, she calls me, this woman on the other end of the phone who I have no idea who it is. Says, okay, it's 10 o'clock, how are you going to get down here? I said, I don't know, I guess I'll drive. She goes, nah, we're gonna send you someone. I go, you know what, I'm good. I'm good. I'll figure it out. No, I'm good, I don't need this. She goes, no, we're gonna come and get you. So they send me an Uber. And they take me down. He gets in there, he takes me down, and the guy says to me, you want anything for the ride? I said, what do you mean? You want a bottle or something? I'll stop at the liquor store, get a bottle. I said, well, I don't think there's anything open right now. I know a spot. I said, I'm going to rehab. Like, am I going to show up there drunk? He goes, happens all the time. I was like, nah, I'm good. Now, at this point, I was nearly 24 hours. I hadn't had a drink. So I get down there, do the deal, sit 2 days in detox, which I didn't really need, but that's the protocol, all right. But after the third day, I did 3 days in the detox, and they're trying to give me these pills and medicine, and I, said yeah, and I chucked them. I didn't take anything. At least I just felt like I didn't need it. There was nothing, there was no advice, there was no mentorship, there was nothing. It was just me with me. So I don't know, I just didn't take it. And, come to find out, sometimes you need that stuff, you need some kind of medicine sometimes when you're separating. But I didn't know that. So I woke up on the third day and I felt relieved. Like it's over. You know, I tell this a lot. I felt like the Incredible Hulk had transformed back into Bruce Banner, and there I was, just on the floor, you know, in my underwear, going, what happened? Where am I? What am I doing here? And I didn't want to leave, though, because I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. You know, I was always that person. You know, if one was good, 1,000 is better. I'm just going to do it. And I always took notes in high school, and I just was the guy with the notebook, taking notes, getting it all in. I have no idea what path I'm about to get on. So I got to know everything. I got to know it all. I got to have all the information. So I go through, you know, the treatment. About 2.5 weeks in, 3 weeks in, we get a guy, he's a famous singer. And I was down in this one in Atlantic City. And he was talking about, you know, his struggles. And I was just like, you know what, man? I played a lot of sports. It just came to me. Like, I played a lot of sports when I was growing up. And I couldn't stand not winning. I said, I'm going to win. I'm here to win. I'm going to fight my way, however it's got to take. I'm going to win. And I just had this burst of will, like, just come to me. So, you know, he said to me, he goes, I see that in you. I said, okay. And then they said, 1 out of 100 of you in this room will make it. 99 of you will be back 6 months to a year. I said, bet. Bring it. I love odds against me. I'm ready. Get mad. That's where I'm at. Living proof. Get mad. So I get out of there. I go to an IOP. You know, they say in 90 days is your best shot. 90 days. Get 90 days. You'll be accountable in this IOP. There's a house connected to it. It's for guys over 40. I said, all right, I'll take it. So I was there only a few days. We have a house meeting on a Sunday, and the house manager says, all right, listen, you got to get a sponsor, and you got to get a home group, and you got to get a job. I said, all right, what's a sponsor? What's a home group? And I have a job. I'm just on disability right now. I'm out sick, so I can't get a job. So he explains it all. I said, okay, how do I get a sponsor? He goes, pray for one. And I was like, here we go. There's the pray thing coming. So I said, really, pray? He goes, what else you got? You took the bottle away. You're not doing, you didn't pray and you had a bottle. Now you don't have a bottle, you probably should be praying. It's not going to hurt you. I was like, all right, that makes sense. I'll try it. I got nothing to lose. Again, I'm here to win. So I get down on my knees and I pray to whoever's up there listening, God of not my understanding. I say, hey, God, whatever you're up there, whatever God's up there, give me a sponsor. Make this guy happy. So it's in the Cherry Hill area. You may be familiar. It's sort of closer to here. Monday night we go to a meeting, do the IOP, meeting every night. You know, you get in the white bus, they drive you to the meeting, they all got staff shirts on, they all know who you are. You're the new people, and I didn't realize that. I sit down, and so on Tuesday night we go to a meeting, we sit in the church pew. It's a giant meeting, big book study, it's 300 deep, standing room only. And the meeting ends, there's this guy sitting next to me, he goes, you new here? I said, you can't tell? Got a guy with a staff shirt sitting next to me over here. I got another guy who's brand new and came in here with me. He said, yeah, well, figured I'd ask. I said, okay, yeah, no. He said, got anybody going through the book with you yet? And I just kind of looked over him and I said, no. He goes, you want to do it now? And I was like, well, yeah, sure. All right, let's go. And he starts reading the book. We start reading the book right there, right in the church. Until the staff people say, all right, you gotta go, we gotta go. We gotta take everybody home. He offers to take me home. So they couldn't. He goes, tomorrow, here's my number, you call me. Okay, are you my sponsor now? He goes, yeah, we'll call that. Okay. So I do this whole thing, and he was kind of tough. I mean, like, you'll be at my house tomorrow. I'm like, I can't go. You'll be here tomorrow. Okay. And I wound up just saying okay a lot. I called him mean sponsor, but he was just doing his job. That's what I needed. And didn't need any soft touch there. So we go through it, man. I hit the steps. I hit him, you know. We go through the book. He said, are you an alcoholic? I said, I don't know. I don't know. You know, could you stop? I said, no, I definitely couldn't stop. He goes, let's read some more. Can you relate to these things in this Bill's story? Can you relate to these things here? We start going through it, and next thing you know, he said, this is step one, and here, I want you to write step one here, so when you go take a guy through the book, you know where you're at in this book. And I went, take a guy what? Yeah, like I'm doing with you. And I'm like, oh, okay. I had no interest in doing that. And it was the furthest thing. I just needed to get sober and not drink anymore, at least for a little while. And then get home and get my family back. That's all I cared about. So step two, yeah, I got it. All right, going. Step three, yeah, okay. Get down on our knees, you know, and we say the third step prayer. We do that all in one day. We read the whole entire book. It took hours. And that's wasn't the last time I've done it, but at that moment it took a long time. So he says, go home. You're going to write down everybody you're mad at. I said, oh, it could take a while. He goes, well, not just their name. First you're going to write their names. And then you're going to write what you're mad at next to their names. And you're just going to make it quick. And he tells me how I'm going to do this, what he called inventory. It's a grudge list. You're going to make a grudge list. Okay. I say, okay. So I write a few names down, and I kind of like, I'm not doing this, you know. There's some stuff here I'm not telling anybody. Not you. I don't care if God comes down here himself. I ain't telling him. So he says, like about a month goes by, and he keeps nudging me. So I said, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. He goes, are you doing it? And you're going to be at my house tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and you're going to read it to me. And I go, what? I'm not reading nothing to nobody. He goes, oh, no, that's how this works. You said you were going to go through any lengths, what it takes to get sober and to stay sober. And I said, I did say that. I said, all right, I'll be there tomorrow. Now I was out of the IOP house, and I was already home. So now going from the short, it's an hour ride one way. So I was, it's an hour, you know. I don't care how long it is. You're going to get here. So I get there. I do the whole inventory. I mean, as best I could. You know, did you leave anything out? I'm like, I don't think so. I don't know. This is what I got in the month that I've been writing it, quote unquote. So I sit for the hour at his house. Step 5. I sit there, the hour. So what am I supposed to be doing at this hour? He goes, we just read it, you dummy. You know? So reflect on the other 4 steps and see if see how well you did, and if you left anything out, and it was as thorough as you possibly could be. And if you did leave anything out, before you leave here, you're going to tell me about it. All right. I didn't. I don't think I did. Other stuff came up later that I just didn't think about at the time. You know, more will be revealed to you. So go through now I got some amends to do. And he coaches me through them. Right? You got a coach. That's the way I look at it. I had a coach, sponsor, whatever you want to call him. I had a coach, I had a mentor, I had somebody who walked through this before me and was able to walk me through it. Hand in hand. Well, for him it was more like a hammer in his hand, but it was hand in hand. But my wife was kind of still drinking at home. I mean, when I showed up there, she had a bottle of wine, like, on the porch, and I'm fresh out of the pokey, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, but I had to stay in my lane, right? There's my business and there's none of my business. So that was none of my business. So this Ron had been on a Zoom call, because now it was right before Zoom, so now everything was Zoom. So he had been on a Zoom meeting and shared his number, and I gave him a call because I felt like he talked about Al-Anon, so I felt like I needed some of that to deal with that area of, and stay sober. So it seemed like he had some experience with that my first guy didn't. So I was like, can you help me with that? And he did. And then we started this, I had gone through all the amends that I could think of at the time, not knowing that I would keep building them over time. I still need to keep doing them. And so Ron became my sponsor. And he started this 9 o'clock inventory meeting. And every day we get on there, 9 o'clock, except Saturday night, because they had this meeting here. So every night at 9 o'clock, because I'd work late, I couldn't make a meeting during the day. 9 o'clock I was there, whether I was driving home, I'd be in the car, the meeting would be on, or I was home. I was in the truck, waiting to go home. And Ron's kind of like, he's gentle, but like pinpoint accuracy. And he'll tell you the truth. And so over time, I really get better at identifying what it is that's bothering me, because when I'm disturbed, there's something wrong with me. And I have to really understand that no one else has to do anything for me to get rid of this resentment. And so we really start working on this daddy issue that I have. And I think one of the biggest things he said to me was, did he do the best that he could? Do you think he loved you? So I said, yeah, I think he loved me. I just think he didn't know what to do with me. Scared little kid. Then he made me angry. So now I'm an angry little kid that's covering up some fear, and he just is at his wit's end with some crazy kid that he's trying to love, do the best he can to, but he just doesn't have the tools. He's doing the best he can. He goes, oh, so he did the best he could. I said, yeah, I guess he did. He goes, you really think you need to be mad at him still? I said, well, there was so much more, He didn't come to my wedding, go on and on. The list was a mile long, And I, one by one, peck these things off. And we get down to did you have a better life than him? Did he offer you the better life than he had? Yeah, I can honestly say yeah. And he was walking the streets, His parents both worked 2 jobs, Do you think he really didn't want you to have electric and gas? No. That's the best he could do. Can you be okay with that being the best he could do? And I wasn't okay with that at first. It took a minute. But he was dead. And I still carried it. He had died 8 years before that. So what was I going to ask him for? I said, can I really be free of this if he's in the ground? What can he do? I'm not forgiving him for nothing unless this. Well, he can't do that. He's gone. So I had these justified resentments. I was justified. You harmed me in some way. I couldn't accept the reality of it. That he was with who he was, and I wanted him to be something different. I just wanted him to hug me. I just wanted some kind of little bit of affection, anything. One time he hugged me. One time he gave me a kiss on the head, My mother, totally no physical affection whatsoever, but that's just who she was. I was okay with that one, but I wasn't okay with him, and I couldn't get to the bottom of it. And I was just selfish. And that runs through me deep. The selfishness and self-centeredness runs through me deep. And I have to start to identify that. And if I can't identify that, then I'm not here to win. When something's presented to me that I have a problem with, and I'm faced with something every day that bothers me, I got to go to that. I got to be willing to hit that, attack that. Not defend it, not find it. Dig within yourself and find it. And I have to keep doing that daily. And so I've grown a whole bunch here, and new guys keep coming into the meeting all the time. So Ron and I play good cop, bad cop. So I soften him up, and then Ron's like the resentment ninja. And he slices you up into little pieces. But he points it out, and it's hard for guys to hear, and it was hard for me to hear. We point it out to you. If you are able to hear it, you're on the right place. You're in the right place. If you're not able to hear it, maybe you'll come back and keep trying to hear it. The resentments that I had were about being good enough. You know, am I good enough? I'm a perfectionist. That's why I had all the notebooks. That's why I wanted to do everything, hear everything, get all the information. I wanted to be the best AAer you had here. And slowly I come to see that there's nothing to get. And that I'm the last one to know. I'm the last one to see it. Somebody's got to point it out to me, because I'm stuck in this reality right here in front of me, and I can't see to the sides. And I need an objective viewpoint. I need somebody to bang me on the head with that hammer, just like my first sponsor did. You got to hit me on the head. I'm an idiot. And so throughout this time, I've met some people from that meeting that I talk to every day. And we almost co-sponsor each other in a way. It's crazy how you kind of click with certain people, and you just become friendly. You just kind of click. It's almost like you need a battle buddy around here. You need somebody. You can't do it alone. You need somebody. You going to a meeting? Yeah, let's go. Hey, you want to go to a meeting tomorrow? Yeah, let's go. Because if nobody says that to me, I might not go. And that's a recipe for disaster for me. I'll take a couple of days off, and my wife's going, you going to a meeting tonight? And I kind of, now that I'm a little awake, I'm going to go. I'm going to go to a meeting. I had no intentions of going to a meeting. You know, it has to get pointed out to me from somebody else. And I just, throughout this time, I think one of the other realizations for me was, I had a hang up with this God piece, in my mind it was always this corrupt word that I had a resentment against. There was another piece of me that just couldn't get past it. And then he says to me one day, well, it's, you get your own conception of God. I said, what? He said, yeah, you get your own conception. It's personal. It's your own personal connection. And you can see it in this book written like 400 different ways. I don't know if that's true or not, but there's many different ways it's written. Spirit of the universe. The list goes on and on. And I said, oh, are you allowed to do that? You're allowed to get your own conception? Like that's a thing? It's not the big bearded lightning bolt guy up there? Like, you're a sinner? I said, no, dude. Go start seeking for that. Say some prayers. You've been saying some prayers. There's prayers all over this book, and I give you a couple real quick ones that I did when I was like, okay. And I've been everywhere. I mean, I've been to live Hindu Vedanta meetings. I've been to Refuge Recovery Buddhist. I've been to Christian Celebrate Recovery. I've been to, the list goes on and on, still trying to seek what that means to me. What does that mean to me? How is it personal? You discover what's personal and what it means to you. This all-powerful, loving, can't put words to it thing that's real, but I just can't touch it. So that's, you know, that was a pivotal moment for me, and that was a year in, you know, like I can remember at that same time, during that time period, like I was going to a wedding, a year sober, on my year anniversary. I was going to a wedding in Cabo San Lucas. And it was my old boss, crew chief. He was going to Cabo, we were going to get married, I'm flying down, we got a place, the whole thing. And I'm going to turn one there. And, we go on this like pre-marriage ceremony where it's like this boat cruise around the bay. The whole place is wasted. It's just me and like I found like two little kids there, and I'm like, I'm like dancing around playing with them, and they're like, why are all these people stumbling all over the place? All right, kid, don't worry about it. You know, you'll see one day. What is in those cups? I'm like, don't worry about it. You know, like I don't know what to say to these kids, but let's go over here. You know, carry my wife back to the room, and then the wedding, the same thing, man. It was the whole place was done. Matter of fact. The waiter was bringing me a Coca-Cola. And he comes over with the glass. And I'm like protecting, I told you, I'm ready to fight. So he brings over this glass. I said, no, senor, I need the can. And he goes, what? I said, yeah, no, you bring me the can and the glass. And he was like giving me this face or whatever. The whole place is drinking. I'm not risking you making a mistake. You know, I'm not risking it. You know, I've done so much work. I've worked way too hard to give it away for something so, and I've heard all those stories, and I listened. And I took that in, and I said, I'm going to protect this with all I got. So on the third day, after the wedding, I'm calling Ron. I can't take it anymore. This is ridiculous. What's going on with me? Blah, 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 blah. You know, and I'm, complaining. And he goes, did you go to a meeting down there? I said, I looked them up, man. And, of course I'm arguing. Looked them up, man. There's no meetings down here. They're all in Spanish. Go anyway. I said, okay. I'll call you later. So I go. I talked to the guy up front. I see the meeting's at 7 o'clock. I'm like, I had talked to Ron at 5. I'm dressed, showered. She's asking me where I'm going. I'm like, I found the meeting and I gotta go. Like, that's it. I go to the front desk. They're willing to take me to the meeting in the van, but I had to find my own way back. So I said, all right, here's the address. I found it. Here it is, blah, blah, blah. I got the phone out, So we get down to the bottom of the hill. We're about to go around the bay and go down into the city. He looks back in the car and he goes, Amigo, you sure you want to go to this place? I said, yeah, that address right there. That's where I need to go. Okay. I got almost all the way there. We're parking right out front. It's this, all the windows got bars on them. I'm not a stranger to that. I know the deal. I get it. I've been to many of those places before. Not a big deal. And he looks back again and he goes, Amigo, are you sure you want to get out here? and I see a bunch of people like in the parking lot, and I knew that was them. I said, yeah, I'm good. I get out, I walk around the side of the building, there's a big banner like Bill and Dr. Bob and the whole thing on the side of the big mural. So I get in there, I talk. I wound up staying another week, just for circumstances, we stayed another week. And those guys brought me back to the place. They brought me to other meetings throughout the other 2 weeks, and they celebrated my anniversary in Mexico and gave me a coin and a cake, and I had to speak a little bit. And it was the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen from complete strangers in a foreign country that I would never have dreamed of in a million years, how they were so nice, kind, welcoming, loving to me. They didn't have to be. Took me places, drove me around, told me what to do. They were like, and they were, you know, some were Americans, some a couple Mexicans, doesn't matter. It was perfect. And I always tell that story. Ron always says, because I heard him say, go anyway. He probably didn't say it like that, but that's how I heard it. So I guess I'm time. I'm just grateful to be here. We'll see if this goes up on YouTube, Ron. But thank you all for coming. I know it's a crappy night out there, and I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful I'm alcoholic today. Without that, I never would have found any higher power. I would have been still sleeping, and it's because of all of you that helped me do that. So, thank you.
My name's Nick, I'm an alcoholic. Let's give Jason another round of applause. That was awesome. Thank you so much for the courage to do that. It's not easy to get up here and bear witness like that and share so much personal stuff with us. So thank you, Jason. You did an awesome job. It's customary us to form a line. We form a line here in the front. We thank our speakers on a personal level. They come at their own time and expense. Let's thank anybody who helped tonight in any service, and that, of course, in the kitchen for our work there with the coffee and everything. And if you'd like to be of service, we could use some help putting these chairs away. And if you care to join us, we'll close with the Lord's Prayer. And we circle up. We circle up. Awesome. Okay, let's have a moment of silence for anybody suffering. Followed by our Lord's Prayer. Our Father, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.